killer collegiate career, killer amateur career. Now you're out here professionally, have had some really good finishes, top 5, top 10. It's got to be exciting to be in contention. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I think last year playing in the final group at KPMG on Sunday was definitely like the turning point for kind of realizing, you know, you always believe you can win out here, but I mean, it's really hard. It is really hard to win, and just kind of being in that position for the first time and seeing how I could handle it. And even though I didn't win, just being there and, you know, having all the big crowds and the TV and all that, and just seeing like, you know, you belong out here, and, you know, my time wasn't then, but, you know, keep putting in the work and it could come any week.
So physical training is so important, and obviously getting into the weight room and getting stronger is becoming such a huge deal in golf.
Yeah.
And it's like you can get those wins in the weight room, and sometimes that kind of translates out here. Do you think like being strong physically is an important part of the women's game?
I mean, I think for sure you can see that, you know, the distances become a big part in golf, and you can see the advantage that people that hit it further have. Even out on the course this week, there's, you know, certain bunkers that if you can carry a 250, you have a huge advantage over someone that can't. So I think, you know, going in the gym and being able to track your progress and see how that translates over to golf and, you know, speed training and all that is really important.
Now, a lot of golfers out here work just as hard on their mental training as they do their physical training. You know, as you're becoming a more experienced professional, are there certain things that you do to work on your mental game, whether it's like books, podcasts, journaling, visualization, any tools that you use?
I like to do meditation. I think that's helped a lot in the beginning of every day. I do, you know, a little 5-10 minutes of mindfulness just to kind of help me. I like to talk into the future with myself, so it kind of keeps me more focused on the present, so I can kind of rely on that, you know, mindfulness practice on the course, which has been really helpful. I like to write out a lot of thoughts that I have in a journal or even in my yardage book.
So for you, when you head into competitive tournaments like this one, do you have that same like checklist or structure or process? Like, is there a way in which, a mental routine or a way in which you approach it?
Yeah, I like to have that. Once you have like your schedule and you do what you have planned for the day, you know, and it just feels like you accomplish more. So like, I did this practice, I worked on these things, instead of sometimes I've learned in the past I would start to almost like panic practice, like practicing to feel good. And then obviously if you're waiting, oh, I gotta hit 10 perfect drives in a row, like you're never gonna get there. And then you on the range for 2 hours and then you're like, wait, what was I doing on the range?
Okay.
You know, you could be 30 minutes and I do all my drills and I'm like, man, that was really good. Like I felt great about that. But just little things you learn along the way, I guess.
I think a lot of times people think pros, like, they're not nervous and they're so experienced. That's
not true.
Is that a myth?
That is a total myth. I think everyone gets nervous. I think there's a difference between being nervous and being anxious, which is a big part of golf, because the nerves are just, you know, you care, like you want to play well, you're going to be nervous on the first tee, and usually it kind of settles down after a little bit, you know, but you can play through nerves. Playing through anxiety is pretty tough.
What do you think is like the biggest challenge being a professional athlete?
I think it's obviously different for everyone because everyone's minds work differently, but like for the mental aspect for myself with professional athlete, it's having everyone's eyes on me and having a lot of different people judging what you're doing. I think that has taken some time for me to get used to, and you know, just having people, I'm always thinking, oh, what if they think about what I'm doing? Like, what if they think I'm doing this wrong? Or, you know, just kind of making sure that I realize that, you know, I am in control of myself, and whatever they think doesn't really affect me directly. I have my team, I care what they think. Wow. So those are kind of the people that I try to lean on the most.